All right, so welcome to Oneness Talk Radio. This is Abby Gooch, and we are so glad you're here on Intuitive You, how to heal and create a life you love. And today is a pretty fun, spontaneous day. I was walking on the beach and my dear friend Kianna came through my LinkedIn and I'm like, okay, I will call you at 2. And fascinatingly enough, it bumped somebody else out of my calendar that I had not put on. And we were able to have this expansive conversation. And so we're actually pre-recording this for you. So you guys will get this live in August. About the energy of expansion and the energetic frequencies of as you connect to your intuition and you move into the field of your own energy, how you can truly heal and create a life you love. So Kianna has some different language than what I use, but she comes from the same place of love and just clarity and understanding that really as we master our energy, we master our life. So Kianna, welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself, and just so happy you're here.
Hello, my name is Kianna Sadge, and my expertise is in energy psychology, bringing people a different perspective in which they can raise their vibration and consciousness from understanding the patterns that we're running, because that's honestly all energy is doing, is running a frequency and a pattern, and energy psychology is about disrupting those patterns that are no longer serving us.
That's so cool. Okay, so how do you do that? Because I feel it, like, as we were talking, I was like, okay, so I feel what you do. So can you give the audience an experience of really kind of tuning into what might be blocking them from creating what they want, to kind of feel that frequency, and then move into alignment of what they do want to create? So maybe just a couple of steps for them to be able to actually have that experience for themselves.
Well, I mean, those are big asks, by the way.
Really, like I'm so used to this infinite universe thing. That's so
yeah. So what people often have that are blocking them is occurring in their mind, right? Because the mind has been basically handed over to powers that be, even in the spiritual community. Like I hear people saying all the time that whatever the universe wants, and they completely forget that we are here on this earth and we use our free will, choice. That is a unique aspect of being a human being. Yeah. And we can't defer that. And you can't hand that over to God, because we're here to be co-creators. And so the first thing I would say is in order to really drive things, it's not about being in the mind, it's about connecting with your heart. So I'd say the biggest block that most people have is that they're thinking that I'm connected. They're thinking I am this, or they're thinking I am that, and they're really not embodying who they are. So does that help?
Yeah, totally. 100%. And really that is the first step to connect with your intuition, is to connect to your heart. So what it does is it quiets the mind so you can feel. So the vibration of love is your heart. So you're actually able to feel the frequencies within and around you and feel a resonance of love, of what you love, right? And then what you want to kind of draw to you, right? It could be a person, a place that you live, like the ocean, friends, right? Like you are the magnet from your heart. And the second step is dropping into your gut. So I talk about like a tunnel of love, right? Like you come down through your heart to your core at your gut, and that's your center of knowing. It's your center point. So as you follow that, it becomes the compass of, yeah, my heart's desire is this. A life I love is obviously going to be guided by my heart. So as I listen to my gut as the compass, it kind of just points me in the right direction, right? And I can keep in alignment with what it is that I truly want. So
right.
Yeah, 100%. Really good.
People often get confused between what they want and what they think they're supposed to have.
Yeah.
And that's often very different. And those two things create an inner conflict that repels what it is that is totally for their alignment. So it actually keeps things out. So for example, I have a client that wants to meet their partner, right? How many people are looking for their soulmate or whatever? And what they don't realize is that this idea that they have of how they're supposed to look, what they're supposed to show up as, what kind of job they're going to have, because they've been taught this whole law of attraction thing about be specific and be clear, but those things are actually also keeping things out that may be aligned for them, but they're so focused on this list that they've created that they're missing out on really an open heart, which is without judgment. And it's without knowing. You're not supposed to know how things are supposed to unfold. That's where spirit comes in.
Yeah, I love that. It's funny. I just was like throwing away some like tapes I'd made like recording because it was getting me too much in my head. I was like, enough already. I just want to feel my heart and feel the ocean. Yeah, it's all vibration, right? So I think it does. It makes it simple, and it just the open heart. I love that. And I think, when you have an open heart, you're open to receive. You're open to receive the love that is here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I just really invite everybody to receive their own heart. Like, what is your heart calling in? What does your heart want to experience? And what is it that you love?
I think that's so important to like really go with what it is that you love and really feed, even if you're transitioning in your career, like, and you're not sure where you want to go, like, what is it that you enjoy? What sparks you? What ignites your interest and your desire? And let that propel you instead of your mind and what you've been educated in. Right? Because they can merge once you've really aligned with your desire. And they do often leverage, but we try to figure it out just so perfectly that it needs to match, and then we mess it up.
Yeah, it's listening to your body too. It's like I left a scholarship when I was 19, I think, because my heart and my gut was like, hey, like this might be what you are supposed to do, but this is what I feel. So what do you feel and know within your core, your inner being, that you're just kind of gravitating towards? Like, like, and the other thing is you can pray, right? Like, don't get too in your head, but you can like ask the universe, like, my prayer was like, okay, like ignite my heart again in a way that like it feels really full, and so that I feel inspired to do my work. And so this morning we just got off a Zoom call with the orphanage that we work with in Ecuador, and we got news that there's enough funds that they can stay in the building. So that was super exciting. So then it's like, okay, now that heart fuels me to then, help all the adults in the program to basically give back to the kids, right? So it's like, as you ask for what it is that you're wanting from your heart, it shows up, right? I wasn't expecting that, it's like, oh, cool. All right. There's that spark, I think is the word that you said. So just keep listening for that. Yeah.
Totally.
Follow it.
Yes.
Yeah. Done some crazy things following it. I mean, it's just like, 'cause love kind of paves the way. Like your mind might think it's crazy, but you're just like, I'll be taken care of because I feel good.
Oh, I know. But that's that leap of faith, right? You like that. I have never in my own personal experience, and you could probably attest to this, have taken a leap of faith that was not rewarded beyond my imagination, beyond.
Totally. Yeah. And faith comes from the heart and your knowing, right? When it's aligned with love, it's like grace has your back and faith is there to carry you. I mean, you will get there. It's just amazing, but come from your heart and your gut, because then it's solid. You're protected. You don't believe in the word protection, but I kind of do. So
well, no, it's not that I don't believe that protection exists. It's just not something that I propose and that I operate off of.
Okay.
And then that's where our conversation this morning kind of like, woo, because Abby was talking about how we protect our fields when we absorb. And as an empath, I will tell you, my own personal experience as an empath has been very traumatic, as many empaths are when they are awakening to their gifts. For me, I actually would physically feel like I would be out at coffee with friends or people I haven't seen for a while, and I would have stomach aches like you would not believe. And I'm like, okay, I'm at the coffee trying to play it cool, and I'm in a foreign country, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to have to tell my husband I need to go to the hospital. If this does not pass. And I'm just like breathing. And I had no idea, because obviously I'm meeting these people, right? I don't know what's going on in their personal life. And I go back to the hotel thinking that was the weirdest fucking thing. Excuse my language. That was the weirdest thing. Like, what is going on? And the next day they canceled because guess what? She needed to go to the hospital. Wow. I had absorbed and felt everything before it even came on with her. And I had no idea what her health issues were. I just knew it wasn't normal for me. Wow. And so when I would go into groups on Facebook or wherever with other empaths and they say, oh yeah, Kianna, that's just the empath. And I'm like, hell no, this is not normal. So let me tell you, if you are an empath and you are absorbing other people's energies, that is not normal. That is the archetype of the wounded healer. And it is normal for the wounded healer. If you don't want to be the wounded healer, you need to strengthen your energy field. That is all that is telling you. It is not supposed to be the way it is for empaths. It has become normal in our world of healers to take on other people's energy and then get mad at them for being that way. and how dare they send that to me? And I cannot believe the nerve. And this is all happening psychically, right? However, that is not normal. That is, well, let me say this. It is normal. It is not natural. Our natural way is to be clear, is to be functioning highly. Yeah. But we live in a very dense population where there's a lot of densities that are going on that convolute, and they also deviate our energy structures. So when I'm talking about strengthening our energy field, at my personal experience, as I've strengthened my energy field, I no longer take on my clients' issues. I will feel them, I will know them, but I am not absorbing them. And that's two different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So how can our listeners strengthen their field, their energetic field?
Well, there are many things that people can do to strengthen their energy field, but there are two that I would like to go into, but I have a list of 10 because I like lists and I like my clients and my people to go away with something tangible. But I think the first thing is most people are not as intentional as they could be. And I think intention setting is key. I did a whole video series that's free on YouTube on intention setting. But intention setting really is a way of being clear and bringing clarity to the moment and to where you're at. It brings a new level of presence into your life. And I think it's one thing to set an intention for the day. And I think a lot of intuitive people or people energetically might do that. But intention setting is really a moment by moment thing. And the more conscious you can be about setting intentions, the more productive and efficient you will be in becoming an expert at that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just was like, it like dawned on me. I'm like, oh yeah. So in our certification program, I talk about intention marries intuition. So intention is the proper use of the mind. It basically tells the mind what to do, and then your intuition activates. So when you're clear on your intention, you are clear and your brain is clear. It is operating in the way it's meant to. Because you think about, I don't know if it was live or when we were talking before, Kianna, but we talked about the word resonance, right? So resonance is your heart, your gut, your body, your mind, everything resonates. It's like in harmony, like it's like this beautiful piece of music. So that's how you can even test if something's true or not, right? Like somebody can say this or that and you're like, does it resonate? You know?
Let's go with that, with even picking up on other people's energy and thinking that they're doing this. You have to be in resonance to even have that experience. As much as you may resist it and as much as you may not like it, there is a resonance that is occurring in order for that to exchange.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because everything's just matching, basically. Energies are just constantly matching.
Always. Always. Even if we don't like it.
Yeah.
Because energy is non-judgmental. There's no judgment in energy. It just is. And it's either moving freely and easily and joyfully, or there's a lot of density and there could be more resistance within the energy field.
That's fascinating. Yeah, I'm just feeling it. So this is funny. Like, I love the beach so much. I was on the beach with a friend yesterday, and literally in the sand, there's this darker shade. And she's like, Abby, it's a magnetic frequency. Like, put your feet on, like everything will attract, like the sand itself will attract to itself. It's just funny, this whole idea of like magnetic frequency, energy, all of it. And then we're having a conversation the next day. It's just fascinating. So I think, where is your energy? What is your intention now? Are you attracting what you're wanting or not? And realize you have the choice. Okay, I'm not now. Okay, what do I want?
Well, and to go back to your point, like intention is really a conscious
choice.
It's a consciousness in choice, and it's a clarity that comes from being present in the moment. It's not about dictating your future, it's about presence.
Yeah.
And as we are present to make an intention, we become more and more clear. So in my intention setting program, I have bonuses, right? Every day, like you do more and more intention. So you build that muscle because it is a muscle, and it does strengthen your energy field because it brings a higher level of consciousness. Awareness is how we raise in consciousness. We can't become aware if we're not present. It really is so basic. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about everything I've created. It really is an intention. It's like, okay, I want to work with the clients, love and trust me, right? Like you just kind of say it, you're clear, and then you focus on it. So the universe brings a match to that.
Well, it comes faster if you don't have density. So if you're noticing, like yesterday, I was walking on the beach and magnetics, and then here I'm talking to you and this synchronicity. So when you're able to see from moment to moment to moment, that's synchronicity, right? That's raising your awareness. And I think when people are not as authentic with themselves, not being willing to be honest and true with themselves, they're not able to see the disconnects. And I think when you're out of sync is a good way to get back in sync. So it's just as important to notice when you're around a lot of people that you think you're absorbing their energy. It's just as important to notice those things that don't feel good as it is to notice those things that feel good. And to be in, to think that everything is always going to go easily, life is about challenges and overcoming them in a new way. So you have to look at both, the shadow work, if you will. You're looking at both pieces. I think in the light worker world, a lot of people don't like to look at the dark.
Oh yeah, I'm one of those. I'm like, no thanks, light please. Yeah, there was something I was gonna say about that. It's good. I mean, I love the awareness. It's like awareness, consciousness, choice, and it's like, I don't know where that's coming from, but that's what I'm getting. It's like, then you realize you're a conscious creator. And you can use your intuition to guide you. So it is really simple. Oh yeah, it's about being in sync or out of sync, that they're equally important. Almost it feels like a center point within you for then you to realize that you can decide.
Absolutely.
And that's you can go from feeling disempowered to empowered, or victim to creator. So really sit with that, because that's really powerful. Okay, I feel out of sync. Okay, I also know what it feels like to be in sync. What do I need to move in sync? And this is more like a personal question, because I'm like, what about how the past affects it? I think you had said something about being present. And I remember since I was 19, that's when I started my practice. I had like 50-year-olds as my clients, but I'd walk in with this presence. Like I could feel myself and they could feel me. And so when you're in your presence, you are mastering your energy and you're available to hold the space for somebody else to then feel their presence and see their power. So I know that was a lot in one. I might have even answered my own question. I mean, it is about being present. But and that might be my mind, right? Like looping to the past or something, right? To trust that everything is okay now, to actually be able to be present. That might be more what it is.
I think, well, that brings up another point that I wanted to say about strengthening your energy field is
Yeah.
there's a surrender
Yeah.
that occurs in the moment that allows presence to emerge in a totally new way. Like without you having to manipulate or fix or to make it appear a particular way, you're just present and just allowing. And I think the allowing, which is another word for surrender, just shifts the whole energy of trying to make things be something that they're not.
Mm-hmm. And so then how do you trust, right? So there's a place of surrender that it's almost like letting go of control, right? And so
Well,
like,
that's just an illusion, right? Control doesn't really exist.
I disagree. I want to agree with you, but I do think at moments you can control certain things or not. Sorry,
Well,
guys, the mailman's next door.
well, I think control is an illusion. And I think that is the human mind playing tricks on us, thinking that we can control outcomes and destiny and all of that. I personally think that is ego coming into play from the mind. I do think that we influence situations, but I don't think we control them.
Agreed. I think that we influence them too. I'll have to think about it, because I do think like no, maybe not. Do we really control it? Yeah, we can influence and decide. And we can't ultimately control anything because we can't control anybody else's free will, or we can't like create nature, or we can't control nature itself. Like, I mean, I have moved with it before. I mean, to the point where it's like 20 geese turned and looked at me. And I mean, it was just like, you can move with it. I think maybe it's the harmony, right? And like, you can feel the tides or the oceans, like just moving with you. So yes, I agree. You can be in harmony and influence.
For sure. Yeah. That's what intention does, right? It influences the frequency. But surrender is an allowing and a release of, this or something better, for example, right? Like, thank goodness that I released and allowed so my life could create in a totally different way,
Yeah. And so I think that's the piece of trust. Like, this is more for me, and I think a lot of people. How do you strengthen trust? Because to influence, you need to trust yourself and trust that you can let go into something bigger.
Well, that is practice, letting go. I had a client reach out the other day and they said, well, I'm not a good decision maker. And I said, well, why don't you try it out and see if you like it? This particular client likes to procrastinate and put things off and doesn't want to make a decision. And I said, you don't even know that you don't like it because you haven't tried it. Try it for a month, a week, or 2 weeks, see what it's like to be a decision maker, like somebody in their power making decisions, and see how it feels for you, because you're just making an assumption that this is the way you have to be for the rest of your life, which is not the case. Right? You can try something on and see if it feels right. And at first, it's going to feel uncomfortable, but practice will help. So you practice taking leaps of faith. You practice letting go. You practice surrender. And there's so many different ways that you can practice, but it does take, an awareness to let go. So one thing, if you're somebody who likes to control outcomes and perfectionist, for example, you could just look at all the rules that you've created for yourself. In order to be successful, I need to do this, and try letting go of some of those rules that you don't need right away. And allow yourself to let them go. Like, if they're really what you need, you'll remember them and they'll move through.
Yeah, it's funny. The other thing I'm thinking, like when I created the businesses, like our retreats or going to other countries and all these things, like it was an intention. And then I really did let go of the outcome. Like, I trusted, right? And so it was an adventure. It was like, okay, I wonder what's going to happen now. Now what island? Now what kids are we going to work with? Like, and it would actually get better. And sometimes there would be some challenges, like, whoa, we weren't expecting that, but you'd flow with it. So it is to what you were saying, it's, you're moving with it. You're in harmony with it. It's not a specific outcome. I mean, it's an idea, and then it just kind of organically grows.
That's how all of my programs have been created. And I have a lot of programs, as you saw.
That's right. I was like, you're like an author. You have like 10 books on it. What's going on?
I have a lot of programs, both corporate and personal, but that's because they're serving different purposes, right? So when I'm working with somebody one-on-one would be different than when I'm bringing to a group, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and how I'm moving a dysfunctional team into greater efficiency is different than what I'm doing one-on-one.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
But every single program came to me before the client asked for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was talking to a woman. Yeah, this morning I told you from, I think Millions of Women Strong, we talked about how like things just come through us. Like her name came through, my business name says, it's just, it's like, it's being birthed through you almost, because there's also a recipient that wants to receive it, at least one or more, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the other thing I love to think about. Like a dream that you have is yours to fulfill. Otherwise you wouldn't have it.
Right. But there's some surrender in that, right? There are some people that will, when you started our conversation with, well, what blocks do people have? Some people have a block to actually fulfilling their dream. And in fact, I've had in this week, probably 5 different clients who have lost a significant family member within this last week. And the message that I got for all of them was essentially like, death is an opportunity. You can continue to look in the past, but our life here is limited. And are you aligned for your greatness? And are you living your purpose?
Oh my God.
Or are you living in the past?
I love it. Are you aligned to your greatness? Let's talk about that. That's fun. Because that's actually the tagline for the Intuition to Income Summit I was telling you about, is like being your greatness. So I would love if you can touch on aligning to your greatness. That's so beautiful. Letting go of the past, aligning to the present moment and your greatness.
Yeah. And totally. I mean, and how do you do that? Well, the stronger your energy field is, the more clear, the more love, light running through your energy structures, obviously the quicker things are going to move, the more efficient things are going to move. If things are not moving efficiently for you now and you're feeling stuck, it could mean a lot of things, but when you start to integrate strengthening your field, things move much quicker. And when you're talking about being aligned to your greatness, you can't mess up when you're aligned, when your structures are filled with light and love and connection and greatness. And when you have to be connected to source energy, creator energy, in order for greatness, in my opinion. The type of greatness I'm talking about is serving humanity, right? And raising consciousness at a totally new level. You can't do that if you're not listening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And feeling that love flow, feeling the light flow. It's like I used to say, like love and light are like synonymous, like they're the same. When you see light, you're channeling love, and love is that light frequency that's just coming out and also attracts. Like people just want to gravitate towards you. They're like, what are you doing? Who are you? Like you walk into a room and they just want to be around you. So yeah. I think what can you do to raise your frequency, which could be a combination of things. It could be letting go of the density, letting go of the past, letting go of what doesn't serve, moving into your heart, a higher vibration of love, doing what you love, being around people that you love, even visualizing golden light coming in, white light coming in, like just really bringing in the light. I mean, I've healed myself and other people with that, just with energy. I mean, it's amazing. So that is you mastering your energy. And then moving into creator energy is realizing you can consciously create your life and being in harmony with the universe so we can influence it for greater love. That's really, I think, a beautiful intention.
There are lots of things that go along with love and light. Like light energy moves faster when you're hydrated. How many people are dehydrated?
Wow.
People are dehydrated all the time. And energy doesn't move as quickly if you're dehydrated. So that's something. Do you have a connection with your higher self? If you're not connected with your higher self and you can't distinguish your higher self from picking up other people's energy or that type of thing, that's huge. And a lot of people, what I find with my clients who are more in the touchy-feely, woo-woo energy thing, is that they have an awareness of the higher self, but it's not integrated. And so if your higher self isn't integrated with you, then your structures aren't going to be as seamless as they could be. So those are, go ahead.
I mean, I think you can ask your higher self to integrate into you. So the way I do it is my intuition, right? It's like, I know it feels right. It goes through my heart, to my gut, to my body. Okay, that's my intuitive connection. I usually hear it, feel it, sense it, know it, all of it. And I'm curious if you have anything you want to add to that. But I think the first, thing is ask, so you can have that experience of integrating your higher self.
Right. Well, and an intention to do it is huge. I mean, going back to intention is everything.
Yeah, totally.
In the spiritual world is intention. And I think people fail to practice intention setting, hydration, connection, too much.
Yeah. So let us know what your higher self is telling you. You can post in the comments, and definitely email us later if you want. Because, your higher self is that higher aspect of you that is connected to everyone and everything, right? It wants the best for you. So as you listen to that, it's like your soul, really, right? Your soul embodied. And that's the way I describe intuition too. So, yeah, if you read my book and my curriculum, it's really that. It's it's moving through us if we listen. And the ego is usually a place of disconnect, right? And so I agree, if we're wanting to control something, yeah, we're probably disconnected from, whatever is going to happen or in the highest, which really, that's usually what the greatest alignment of love is. That's the highest, So. Yeah. So funny you say hydrated. I'm like, I need water. I can feel it. I can totally feel it. My goodness.
Well, you can just ask for that to be downloaded too.
Water or hydration?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can.
Yeah, I've done that before with crystals too. Okay, give me that frequency.
Absolutely.
Totally. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share today, Kianna?
Well, I think what I would like for everybody to know about protection and being safe is that, from my perspective, that's really a lower vibration consciousness. So that's a fear consciousness. I need to protect my field is a consciousness of fear that weakens and makes your energy structure more vulnerable. So what I would offer is to strengthen your energy field would be the best practice. And if you are unfamiliar of how to do that, then, connect with myself, who is an expert in helping people in that way, or just become more practiced in the things that we did talk about, like intention setting and surrender and prayer and hydration. Those are just a handful of ways in which you can strengthen your energy field. But oftentimes our consciousness creates a vulnerability and a weakness within our energy structures, and you definitely want to strengthen those. This time has never been more important in the history of the planet than to have a strong energetics throughout your physical body and your energy bodies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the opposite to fear is love. So again, just move into love. Know that you are love. As you do what you love and are with people that you love, you expand that frequency, and the fear can start to dissipate. It's like you turn the light switch on in a dark room and it's light. Yeah. There's love here now, So I think just really letting it be simple and doing the simple practices.
Absolutely. It doesn't have to be complicated. We complicate it.
Yeah.
But
totally. 100%. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know we talked a little bit before about sharing your website so people can follow you. Is there any links you want to give them? You might want to spell your name.
Yeah, my name is spelled Kiannaa, Kianna.com. And they can get to all my resources and websites I have other websites as well from there, and tons of YouTubes. I have hundreds of YouTubes on different practices, courses, whatever you're looking for. I have a little bit of everything.
Nice. That's awesome. And if you have not already, you can go to lifeforceconnection.com and download your activation of your chakras to live your best life. And also go to the bottom and you'll see the nonprofit with the kiddos at One Heart Global. So we're having a lot of fun with that. And if you feel guided to donate, please do. We would love it. So, all right. Well, is there any last words of wisdom you want to leave the audience with?
Follow your bliss, as Joseph Campbell says.
Oh my God, the other day, I saw that the other day on somebody's car. Wow, that's so fun. All right. We'll see you later, everyone. Have a good one. Bye.